Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Walton, and in this video I'm going to explain the difference between the gamma mindset and how Joe Dispenza teaches getting into gamma brainwaves. Okay, to start, just a quick overview of gamma brainwaves. Now, when we create gamma brainwaves, more of our brain cells fire at the same time. And this leads to sort of hyper-interconnectivity of the brain. The brain working as one whole system in optimal flow, the optimal functioning state of the brain. So this is where we can process massive amounts of information, uber fast, but without the stress response. When you create gamma brain waves, you're in this optimal functioning mode where you have easy access to your skills, your knowledge, your experience, but without any stress. You're in that flow state. So gamma brainwaves are really, if you can create them every day, you can rapidly retrain your brain so that your baseline state is not one of sort of anxiousness or doubt or, even neutrality, but is a baseline state of calmness, confidence and flow where you operate from every day. So creating gamma is highly beneficial for all of us. Now, I created a technique called the gamma mindset technique. I actually created it by accident. I didn't set out to create a technique that created gamma brainwaves. About 15 years or so ago, I was measuring brainwaves, doing various techniques, and I was looking for a technique to create a peak brain state, the ideal brain state for subconscious reprogramming, to rapidly reprogram the subconscious mind. I'd studied loads of stuff over the years and I wasn't impressed with things like hypnosis, how long it took and the results of it. So I wanted to know, how can we get in there and rapidly retrain the brain, rapidly reprogram the mind and update the mind, update the circuits of the brain with more positive, empowering beliefs and thinking patterns to really empower us. That's the mission I was on. And I created a technique which, as it happens, creates these gamma waves in 60 seconds. It's a very specific technique that involves a physical posture, a relaxation protocol, and a heart-based emotion. And these three things together create this peak brain state where you see these gamma brain waves. And it became known as the gamma mindset technique. I did my PhD dissertation on this technique, on measuring the effects of that technique over a 14-year period. And I was measuring, does it increase people's self-belief and confidence? And we can say absolutely yes. Even people that used the technique 14 years ago and the changes they got, those changes stayed with them all the way through. They were lasting changes in self-belief and confidence. And it happens quickly. This is because, again, of this brain state where we've got gamma, this hyper-connected, peak functioning, peak state brain. So Joe Dispenza, he's been also into gamma waves and teaching people through guided meditations how to get into this gamma state. And in this video, I wanted to cover what's the difference? What does he do to what I do? Because there are some real distinct differences. And if you've been trying Joe Dispenza's stuff and not getting on with it for one reason or another, then it might be interesting for you to try the gamma mindset technique, which is a very, very different approach to how Joe does it to try and get people into gamma. So I just want to explain that next. Okay, so firstly, it's the method itself. So Joe teaches guided meditations. And you could call it guided meditation, you could call it guided hypnosis, you could call it guided relaxation. It doesn't matter what word you use. But if you go to one of his workshops or take one of his online courses, you're listening to him speak and guide you through a journey, with the idea being that creates gamma brainwaves. So that's Joe's method. My method is different to that because it is a specific technique. There are 3 steps to it where we have a physical posture which helps to integrate the left and right hemispheres of the brain. We have a very important specific relaxation protocol around the face and the head to really relax, because that sends signals into the brain. And then we have a heart-based emotion, which is very important to connect the heart and the brain. And that's where we get a surge of energy into the brain, and combined with the other two steps, we get these gamma brain waves. I just wanted to add one more thing. In a way, there are sort of 4 steps to the gamma mindset technique. And the best way to do it is with a guided audio session. Because on the guided audio, you'll hear my voice, but there's also a specific sound technology under the track that really amplifies this peak brain state. It really helps the synchronization of the hemispheres and amplifies gamma, theta, and alpha. So that's the best way of doing it with a guided audio. And I've measured this, doing it with and without, with guided audio and without. And you see definitely you get more gamma, theta, and alpha, much more of those brain waves than you do when you're doing it on your own. So that is the best way to do it. It isn't actually an extra step, but it's just that sound technology effect right at the start really makes a big difference to that peak brain state that you can create. So it's a specific technique that shows gamma brainwaves. So you're not just sitting there doing a meditation. You have got your eyes closed. It is a very deep state of consciousness, but it's also a very expanded state of consciousness. So the methodology is different. So that's the first thing to note. The second thing that follows that is the speed. My technique, the gamma mindset technique, you can get gamma waves within 60 seconds, actually 45 seconds. You get this huge increase in gamma activity. And if you go to my website, gammamindset.com, you'll see that. You can sign up for a free masterclass and you can see that live in action, measuring somebody's brain and seeing these gamma waves within 40 seconds or so, huge bursts. So you can see that. So I know that happens. I've measured a lot of people now over the years, and this is what happens with everybody who get this increased gamma brainwaves very, very quickly. Now, when you're sitting meditating, I can tell you most people don't get gamma brainwaves when they're sitting meditating on their own. I have measured this myself. I have measured doing the gamma mindset technique versus doing a standard meditation and looked for gamma waves. You hardly get any gamma waves with anybody unless they're a real seasoned Buddhist meditator with thousands of hours of meditation experience just doing meditation. That's just how it is. You know, most of us don't create gamma brainwaves. We're not that coherent. We're not that, aligned and clear inside. We've got all sorts of mental sort of noise and old, outdated, conditioned emotions and beliefs and stress-related issues, that don't allow us to be coherent and in flow. So that's the sort of reality. Most people don't create gamma brainwaves. The studies that have been done on gamma brainwaves have been done by a guy called Dr. Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin, where he's measured Buddhist monks compared to students doing the same meditation. And these Buddhist monks had over 10,000 hours of meditation experience. They're creating gamma waves. The students, no gamma waves at all, just an increase in alpha showing they're nice and relaxed, but they're not in the same state as the Buddhists. So most people don't produce them, and it's important to know that. Now, Joe has shown in various research experiments of his own, people creating gamma brainwaves. And that's great. The issue, if you like, is you're in a group. Even when he's been doing, measuring these people, they're in a group. That's a very different ballgame to you being at home, plugging in and listening to something. You've got no other brains and energy around you. There's no other energy fields going into these meditative states around you. So that's a massive difference. Now, the research that I've done, I know this for a fact. When people have come to my practice and we do one at a time, you wire somebody up, put all the electrodes on, go through the process, one at a time. It's different to if you were doing that 10 at a time, or 20 at a time, or 50 or 100. And I don't know how many people have been in these groups measuring brainwaves, but the ones I've seen, there are at least 30 or 40 people there. So that's a very different brainwave state that you're going to create than if you're doing that on your own. And that's a key point. And some of the things I read in the forums about this sort of stuff, you don't sort of get the feeling. Well, you're never going to get the same feeling as if you're in a massive group. And that's the same as anything. If you're singing in a group, if you're at a sports match with a group, if you're a meditation with a group, if you do anything with a group, there's always more power to it, obviously, because you've got a lot of people there. So that's important to sort of know that. It's not to say that you can't get into gamma on your own doing a meditation, but the research suggests most people don't, and most people don't. I have seen that for absolute sure. But this is where the gamma mindset technique, anybody, I measured people from 20 to 71 years of age doing this technique, and anybody can create these gamma waves using this technique. But it's a specific reason, because there are these steps and we know the mechanisms of that. But it's very interesting to see how quickly you get into these gamma states. But it's also really interesting to see is you also have very high theta very, very quickly. And very high theta is deep, deep, deep relaxation. That in a standard meditation, it'd take you, I don't know, 10 minutes if you're good, 15, 20 minutes longer to get that much theta. But you get that deeply and quickly doing the gamma mindset technique, and alpha, and your beta wave like me now, wide awake, on the go, thinking a lot, speaking quickly, it switches off. It completely switches off in the gamma mindset technique. And you've got gamma, theta, and alpha within a minute. So that's a very, very beneficial brainwave state to be able to do for yourself every single day. That really retrains things quickly. And then you can apply the gamma mindset technique to reprogramming your mind, etc. And this is where there's another difference between Joe Dispenza's methods and mine. What Joe shows in his workshops and books is very much about healing illnesses and issues, physical issues and stuff, which of course is fantastic and seemingly gets amazing results in his big seminars. Absolutely brilliant. My focus has been not so much on the physical healing, the healing side, but showing how we can use this technique to rapidly reprogram the mind, rapidly reprogram the subconscious beliefs, which is the core of it all. Reprogramming those deep down belief systems is the core of it. That's what drives us on all levels. So that's been my focus. And so what the gamma mindset technique has shown over that 14-year period, it's scientifically proven to increase self-belief and confidence. And that's the only study in the whole of psychology that has shown how you can reprogram the mind to increase self-belief and confidence. So that's very interesting. So if that's the sort of thing that you are interested in and getting into these higher states of consciousness, these gamma states, and retraining your brain and getting all the benefits, and if those sort of more longer meditations are not working for you, which they work for a certain type of temperament. Long meditations are not for everybody, and it isn't longer is better. It's the brain state that you want. If it's taking you 20, 30 minutes to get into a peak brain state, when you can get into that in a minute, I'll choose the minute one, because it's the brain state we're after. That's what's driving us then, and then you can do reprogramming, and then you can relax, come out and, take these higher states, these higher brain states into your day and, have a good, happy, successful, productive day. That's all what we want. So the gamma mindset technique has profound effects on the brain, on the mind, on the way we think, on the way we feel, and how much energy we have, how much focus we have. All these things come from being able to create gamma brain waves. So I hope this video has been useful. Just a few differences here between the way I approach getting gamma brainwaves in Joe Dispenza. Not knocking Joe in any way. I've met the man some years ago, a very nice guy. He's definitely bringing positivity into the world. I just wanted to highlight the differences. And if you haven't quite got on with those longer meditations, try the gamma mindset technique. And you can watch it for free. There's a great masterclass on the website, gammamindset.com. Have a look there, and hopefully I'll see you there soon.